What's up? Holy shit. Thanks, buddy. Is my mic on? Can you hear me? We're good? How's everybody doing? You guys are fucking nuts. Sorry. Pardon the French. Yeah. So, okay, first of all, I'm completely overwhelmed because, like, I didn't even know there were this many actual humans that were watching my shit. So, you never know online, right? Because, like, they're all bots and stuff. I want to know, just to show of hands, who drove here, like, more than 2 hours or more than 2 hours travel? Really? Wow. So, where's some of you from? New York. New York? Really? London, Ontario. London, Ontario. Where are you from? Windsor. New Hampshire. New Hampshire. Damn. Yeah. Where are you from, bud?
Live for your
New York as well? Yeah, really? Yeah. It's amazing. Where are you from? London, Ontario. And you? Montreal. Wow, Montreal, yeah. Same. You take the train? Yeah. Yeah, it was you? Sick. Yo, guys. So, yeah, first of all, thank you so much for being here. This is amazing that you guys just, like, showed up for this and, like, not even knowing what to expect, I guess, right? Because neither do I, to be honest. It's like, I don't even know what this is. But YouTube is pretty dope, and they're pretty awesome to open the space up like this. For all you guys that are around Toronto as well, it's a really cool space where you guys can eventually use. I mean, if you have your own YouTube channels and stuff. So he'll tell you more about that some other day, because today's about me. So yeah, so we're gonna open with just like a sort of panel talk between Pete and I. Talk about sort of videography, YouTube, magic, any questions you guys might have. So literally, this is your time for like the Q&A. Whatever you guys want to ask, whatever you guys want to say, it's cool. And then we'll open it up a little later to like the lecturing and the magic stuff.
The jam?
The jam.
Not physical jam.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, we're going to have like a bunch of magicians here, and at the end, we're just going to like jam, right? We're going to jam, right? You guys know what I mean when I say we're going to jam, right? And so they're like, you're going to what? We're like, yeah, we're going to jam. So in the green room, I had a jar of jam waiting for me with my logo on it. And they're like, we know how much you love jam. And I was like,
that'll be available in his web store next Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah, Ramsay.
Ramsay Jam.
Ramsay Jam. Yeah. So yeah, we'll start off with just I guess a quick Q&A because I want to get to know you guys as well. I mean, it's pretty dope that you guys came out here. I think that's awesome. So
well, let's start with before we open up to Q&A. Yep. Tell I think you've got a really interesting story with how YouTube just kind of exploded for you.
Okay.
I remember when we were traveling in San Diego, you'd be telling me on random trips, you'd be like, oh, my YouTube subscribers are going up and up and up, and I wasn't really paying much attention to it at the time. But this guy's channel was growing without really even posting videos.
Yeah.
It was just skyrocketing. So tell us a bit about how you got it to the point where it was working for you without you even really posting, and then the shift to when you started realizing I need to put more content.
Yeah, speaking of the shift, like that I've been on social media for I think like 4 or 5 years, but YouTube wasn't really like a thing for me. Like I don't know, I just kind of like threw videos up there, but a lot of you guys like really liked some of the content I put up. Equally, I liked it too. I thought it was great, and then from there, I don't know. There's just this. I started working for Murphy's Magic. I don't know if some of you know about Murphy's, and then obviously, started working at Illusionist after that. So I always had that sort of web show. I was always sort of present on the web and through Instagram and stuff. But yeah, YouTube just literally took off. I don't even know how. Like I could ask these guys at work here, and they probably don't even know how the algorithms work. Like it's just a big mystery, isn't it? Right? Yeah, pretty much. So like, I don't know. I guess I think one of the most important things to keep in mind, like for me, was keeping the conversation open between the people watching and not sort of, I don't know how to really word it, but not to come off as a asshole. That's like just be real, right? Just like whatever. I mean, and plus you're behind the camera, so I can edit, I can produce, I can choose the lighting, I can say what I want to say. I have control of everything, right? So why would I throw something up there that I'm not either happy with or that I shouldn't have said, So it's very controlled what I put out there, but it is still, it is still a part of me. So I think people just respond to authenticity, I think, to a certain point.
Is there ever content that you want to put up, but you're unsure of, that might be like towing the line with maybe even like exposure or just with something you're not comfortable with, but it might get a great response from the community, but you don't want to be taken a certain way?
Definitely exposure, I think, is a big part of the magic community and YouTube, where what are the lines there? I mean, there's so many people teaching stuff that they have no business teaching, and there are a lot of people teaching stuff that they have business teaching, they're just teaching it really poorly. So it's like there's this big cluster of YouTube right now, and it's, you know, I get a lot of people messaging me like, oh, where's the new tutorial, where's the new this, where's the new that, but that's the thing, it's like you can only do so much before you start to hurt what you love, right? So it's, I don't want to demolish what, you know, what brings me joy. I don't want to, you know, trash that. So it's like there's a fine line you have to walk.
It's easy to happen. It happens fast.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, ethically there's a fine line you need to walk, and also what I think I'm good enough at to be able to teach. That's the other thing. So try to keep those things in check. But yeah, definitely. I definitely, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, was that too much? Did I give away too much? Yeah, 100%. I think
one of my favorite things on your channel, you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about, but the skits for me. When you come out with the skits, like, who saw, raise a hand, the any card, any number skit? Yeah. That was the best thing. But like, if you've noticed though, if like a layman watches that, they're like, this is the dumbest video I've ever seen.
Yeah, actually I've had people be like, wow, that trick was amazing. They're like, how did you do it? Like, literally there was camera cuts. Like, I didn't actually deal down to that number, let's be honest. Like, I mean, like, it was just a skit I did with myself. But they weren't even aware that there was one person. They thought it was two people, and they're like, well, you fooled him. He was like underreacting or whatever. I was like, yeah, totally.
It's funny because sometimes we'll like, I'll call Chris on Skype and he'll answer and he'll be in like the glasses, which I refer to as his alter ego. Yeah. So he'll have the glasses on, he'll like be mid-skit, and I always tell him like, Chris, there's so many easier ways to shoot this, but he'll always do like one bit and then do the whole other half and then back to the other half. Yeah. So funny. What made you start doing that? I
don't know. I thought it was just like funny scenarios. You know, I'm sure you guys, happens a lot of you guys, where you think of something like a funny scenario, or you're with your friends, you're like, you know, somebody should throw that into
that
like,
always happens.
They should throw it into Family Guy or something, because that would be a funny skit, right? Well, that's kind of like how I saw it. I was like, that is a hilarious thing. I have the camera. Hell with it, let's do it. So.
Like the card spring, you guys probably, it's probably happened to at least half.
And that's the thing. It's like these are all really relatable things to magicians. Like when you do this crazy magical effect, right? That you've been like, there is ACAN or whatever you're working on, right? It's crazy
over the YouTube space.
Yeah, just like, yeah, insane. And then you do a card spring, and everybody's just like, whoa, what was that? What was that? What the fuck was that? And you're like, was this? And they're like, whoa, you come see this, right?
James, come here. Wait, yeah. I'm gonna snap this.
And then literally you're just like card stringing for like lay people, and they think it's magic. But well, whatever. I mean, it's cool, but it's just funny for us because we put so much into that, right? We're like, oh, this trick is so good.
I think with how often Chris and I are behind cameras and filming things, I think we start like living our lives in moments of like. Less like living in the moment, more like that could be good on camera, or like we could make that funny, or we can make that into a good skit, versus just like laughing at a joke. It's a different mindset that you get into, like being a YouTuber or starting to shoot. You start to think just in terms of videos versus
definitely. You know where to cut and that type of thing. I think that happens a lot as well. Especially, I think I don't know. Show of hands, how many of you guys like film your own videos? Yeah, so quite a bit, like maybe even half, right? So when you're shooting your own videos, like, I mean, you're conscious of, I should have turned that off. You're conscious of everything you're putting out there, right? So you're behind the camera, you're doing all that stuff. So the way your mindset works with that sometimes, that you'll just keep rambling, or you won't shut it off, or you're like, I know I'll cut there, right? And so your mind state starts to change to like a videographer or a cinematographer, or whatever you want to call her, a vlogger. Yeah. So you just know where to cut. That's going to be funny if I say it this way, and then I'll jump cut, whatever. Yeah, it's a weird, twisted reality that we live in, isn't it?
Traveling with us is the worst for other people.
Might look like fun.
We'll be like our vlogs will make it look like fun, but for the people there, we'll be driving from San Diego to Las Vegas, and like it should take 4 hours, but it takes us like 9, because we're like, stop the car, back up.
Yeah, we need that shot.
Run 10 minutes into the desert just to get like one shot of Chris holding the Carpe Noctem deck.
Yeah.
And that's like an hour of our day.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So we were in, do you guys know the Carpe Noctem deck, right? So we shot that in Vegas. We were going from San Diego to Las Vegas on a road trip with Jeremy Griffith, if you guys know him, and a friend of mine, Ian and Pete. And we're like, we need a trailer for this, and it'd be really cool to get that in the desert. So we stopped off. It was 116-degree heat. So in Celsius, that's
ridiculous.
It's probably still 116. It's really hot, right? So we get to the desert. We pull over. Like, I'm deathly afraid of, like, not deathly afraid. There's no poisonous animals in Canada, right? So like anything poison like is a red flag for me.
It's like Indiana Jones, man.
Yeah, we got there and we're like, so I'm like, asked my buddy, I'm like, we're gonna film here? He's like, yeah. I was like, is there are there scorpions? Like, he's like, oh yeah, 100%. It's like,
and I'm like, are there snakes? He's like, yeah, see all the holes in the
yeah,
ground?
he's like, the holes, the burrows, I'm like,
the ground looked like Swiss cheese. Like, there was holes everywhere.
So me and him are literally just like hopping, couldn't wait to get the hell out of there fast enough. Like, it wouldn't happen fast enough.
But the footage
we good? We got it? We're good?
The footage looks so badass, though. You'd never know that we were just being a bunch of, like, pansies, like,
chicken shits,
hopping
just like,
through the desert, trying to avoid the holes.
To avoid, like, what was that one snake? He's like, oh, this is like the black mamba or whatever, like some scary ass name. I was like, oh!
Yeah. It'll paralyze you
Let's
for
get the
life
hell out of
and
here.
your family.
Yeah.
It actually came out of, like, one of the holes?
Yeah. No, we didn't. No. Okay. Thankfully. No, I would have cried. Yeah.
So what's your favorite thing to shoot then? Of everything you do, because you do skits, you do explanations, you do tutorials, you do more like in-depth conversations where you talk about yourself.
Yeah.
Which gets great feedback. So what is your favorite thing to flip the camera on and talk about? If someone was to just say go.
I like a bit of everything, and so I think I have a love for every one of those things, or else I wouldn't do them. I'm starting to feel like tutorials is a thing where, okay, as long as I can be funny, original, and engaging with people and teach them something meaningful that they're going to use, that's cool. But as soon as it starts becoming about the subscribers or about the views, that's when I kind of want to like just do what I like doing instead. And I know a lot of people on YouTube just literally follow, learning channels for the content so they can learn stuff, right?
Yeah.
And not necessarily, but like for me, it's a creative outlet. So sometimes it might be vlogging. I really enjoy vlogging, which I've started up. I like just being silly and editing and doing literally whatever the hell I want with my channel, and I get really cool suggestions from people, and but just at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, you know what, but this is fun for me and I love it. And that's, I think, my newfound love is like my vlog. But the street magic ones are really what.
You get some great feedback from those.
Yeah.
How many have you done now? Like
I don't know, probably like four.
Of them.
Yeah, 4 or 5, and every one was different. And I've always gone into it like thinking of the effects that I want to perform. So I'd think of like 3 or 4 effects that I've not seen on video, or that I can tweak out a little bit, that I can change a bit. And then I go out and perform, 2, 3 of each to different people, and then get home, chop it up with some B-roll. B-roll is like the stuff, like, the blurry, artistic stuff you cut into.
It's all like, it's all like the fun, cool visual clips that you use to tell a story.
So yeah, I definitely enjoy that for the storytelling, because I do like the storytelling aspect of videography. But I also like the real-time vlog stuff where you catch, just on-the-fly humor and that type of thing. So.
We're the worst when we vlog together because we both try to vlog at the same time. And
none of us just end up using any of the content, though.
Chris,
we just end up deleting. We're like, well, you're in every fucking shot, so.
Because you guys can tell Chris's voice is like a megaphone, so it always overpowers my mic. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, please.
No, I was going to say, like, as far as subscribers have gone in your fan base, when did you, because you do tutorials, but like you do giveaways and stuff too.
Yeah.
So like, when did you decide you wanted to start doing that?
Well, because here's the thing, and there's like a taboo thing about giveaways on YouTube, right? Because YouTube now is like changed their algorithm again, like Lord knows like
every day
where it's at, yeah. And now it's like, it's really like engagement based apparently, and not so much just view time and viewer retention. So it's like engagement based, and so like even in my videos, like
smash that like button.
Yeah, like right. It's all about the clickbait. It's all about that. Just because they want people to be more engaged. And I get that, but you have some people who literally just have a whole video being like, "This video, we're gonna try to get 1 million likes," and that's the whole video.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, where's the content? And just literally the content is
5 minutes
yelling at people, telling them to hit the like button.
We can do it. We can do it. Hit that like button.
And that's what kind of happens when you create that sort of engagement-based sort of thing, right? You get like this weird mutation of people who do their own weird stuff. But so at the same time, I want to keep people engaged on my channel, because I do, I want them to watch, and I want them to share it, I want more subs and all that stuff, like everybody. But at the same time, I don't want to throw away, I don't want to just like pay you to like my shit. Like that's like just something I'm not comfortable with. So the giveaway thing I've been doing for a while, and I think just because like, I don't know if you guys seen like my card collection, it's grown since, and here's the messed up thing. This is so messed up.
It's ridiculous.
When you start in Magic, you pay for everything, right? You literally like buy everything. I still buy stuff, but like you spend so much money on playing cards and so much money on magic tricks and effects.
Shipping.
And you get to a certain point. You get to a certain point in your Magic career or whatever, and where people will just start sending you stuff. and you stop paying for them now that you can afford it, or now that you can, like, you know, now you're getting it for free. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
But it's the funny thing is, because it's awesome at first.
Yeah.
But then, like, not to sound ungrateful, it gets to the point where you're like, I don't want this.
Yeah, and then people are like,
stop.
they send it to you because they want you to post it.
Yeah, it shifts.
You know,
from,
and then you're like kind of like in
this
this weird contract where you didn't sign up for. You're like, I appreciate it, but like now there's like a catch, right? So that's kind of a weird thing.
It's a weird shift that happens
So,
over time.
A lot of times, all that stuff that I get, I just end up giving away. You know, I end up saying like, all right, like, okay, for instance, today, so Brad Christian, the CEO of Illusionist, you guys know Brad.
Who?
Yeah. Who? I talked to him, and I wanted to do something special for you guys, so I wanted to get like a bunch of decks we can give all you guys, right? So he sent me a whole ton of them, and they never came in time, right? So
yeah.
I was like, you know, this really sucks. I did bring you guys something, by the way, so you'll have something to leave
Apparently
with.
they're walking them here from
Yeah,
San
I was like, what the hell is
so.
going on? So I was really quite disappointed with that. But the idea is that, you know, like I just wanted to give it to you guys, no catch or anything, and that's, you know, you can't do that online. You can't do a giveaway with no catch, right? Because people are like, wow, he's doing it for subs. He's doing it for likes, right? So, but like, how do you give something away out of the, you know, sort of being generous, you know, without looking like you're trying to buy your fans, right? But I don't know.
Let's talk about our thumbnail debate.
Yeah.
Chris and I have this thing that's ongoing about thumbnails, because you guys all know what clickbait is, right? Yeah. For the most part, it's a thumbnail that, okay, so clickbait is like when maybe his video has to do with him talking about chess or something, right? And the thumbnail, he would make something like, I can't believe this guy punched me in the face.
Magician hustles.
Yeah, so like a kind
player.
of title that you're going to click on because you're intrigued by what the thumbnail shows, and it's maybe him getting punched in the face, but then you watch the full video and there's no punch in the face. And it's just like a chess game.
So that's the thing. There's the punch in the face scenario like would have to happen in my case, like for me to do that.
Well,
right?
I guess there's different degrees of
exactly,
people that clickbait.
there is. But there's some people that like literally just like blatantly lie to you to get you to click and whatever, and then you see like the dislikes are super disproportionate, right?
And everyone's like, oh.
But like I think here's how I stand. I stand on like, okay, you're competing with all sorts of people on YouTube for them, you know, for their videos and the views and stuff. So I just kind of like want you to be engaged by the thumbnail and the caption, see that, and then click. And then from like you can leave the second you walk in and be like, I got baited. Damn it. Dislike, block, delete, right?
Command W.
Exactly. Or you can stay and watch the content. If the content's good, you like the video, whatever, and that's been the trend. Like people like the videos. So like that's my sort of style. I kind of like see myself as like a little bit of like little PewDiePie magic, like almost like, right? Because it's like I don't care what I do. Like honestly, I like PewDiePie a lot for like different reasons and whatever. But like he's more like it's kind of like Casey Neistat type, where he's like, oh, I gotta have the beautiful thumbnail, no script on anything,
no text.
It's gotta tell the truth and all that. I'm just like, oh, boring.
So we always have this debate because we both have visual backgrounds and we both have spent like hours like curating our Instagram grids so that all the tones match. And like I can't post a green shot if I have 8 orange shots up there. So
that's an actual thing, by the way. We send
grid.
each other. We used to. We
grid
stopped.
tests.
We stopped a little bit ago because we were just getting sick of it. But grid tests. So the grid is on your Instagram is like the layout of all the photos, right? It's like or your feed or whatever.
Yeah.
So what we do is we put a photo in because we'd have already mapped out. Okay, my grid, I want it to be in these tones.
And then I'm going to shift to
It's pretty
pink.
insane. Yeah, and then we upload the photo. So if ever you guys have caught me uploading a photo and then deleting it, I don't know if that's anybody's ever caught that, but like
that's a grid test.
That's a grid test. So we'll literally like screenshot, delete, send it to Pete. Yo, what do you think of the grid? He's like,
I'll get like 4 texts of his like grid, and I'll just write 4, and he'll be like done. And
done.
He'll post the 4th photo.
Right. So that's like the lengths we go to for like social media. It's pretty ridiculous, but we.
One of those pixel art with the little pictures make the big one.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I thought that was. I think that was pretty lame, by the way. I thought they were cool at first, but then like
I did that once, but then you post another photo and it goes out of sync, and like because it's not in order, I can't breathe. So like I have to delete all 9 photos.
Yeah.
But that's the funny thing. Like a lot of people and artists are judged in this day and age off those first 9 photos. Like before getting a job in photography or anything visual, you'd go in with your portfolio and people would flip through your book and look at your shots. But now they're going to do a quick Instagram search or YouTube search, look at your thumbnails, look at your grid, and make a 10-second snap decision if they like what you have to offer.
Yeah.
So as ridiculous as it still has a
place.
place.
It's for a reason. Yeah, definitely. Like we'll skim through grids and be like, ugh, I like his photos, but his grid's shit. So I'm not subscribing. I'm not following.
Yeah.
Like that's like a legitimate.
But it's a good example into like how there's a lot of work and behind the scenes that happens with even just like Chris's channel or his Instagram or the tricks that he puts out.
Yeah, there's definitely far more than
you make it
we
look
let
easy,
people
but
know.
you mean there's nights where you're editing at 3 a.m. and you'll
Yeah.
text me and stuff like that.
When I was here, I think you guys remember that when I was doing this the YouTube space thing, I was coming in like this, right? And I went out like asked Benny like every night. I was here for 5 nights, and every night I was out until like 3 in the morning. And then I'd go back to the hotel room and edit for 2 hours, upload, and be here by 9 for a whole week, right? So the work that went behind it, obviously, you know, I could also just not go out and be an idiot, but then I'd have no footage, right? So.
I mean, like Chris and I were in LA like three or 4 weeks ago, and even just like before our flight, like we had 40 minutes to spare. So we hopped the fence into this little courtyard that was all locked off, and we shot a tutorial for your channel with just like the only 45 minutes we had to spare. And then we went into the lounge, used their Wi-Fi, edited it, uploaded it, so that it would be content for people to see while we were on the flight home. Yeah. So it's just like there's a lot to it that I don't think a lot of people get to see, which is nice with the vlogs that you're doing now, because they kind of get a little insight into Chris Ramsay's life on the other side of the tutorials and the Instagram posts.
Yeah, and I think that's I don't know, like I don't care if it's important to other people or what, but I like it. I enjoy doing it. So and you know, people seem to enjoy seeing a little bit of behind the scenes of what goes on sometimes, because you know, that's another thing, is like a lot of people will only show you what they want you to see, right? They'll only show you like the perfect product, which I've done in my case as well many times, right? Because I want to put it out there.
Grid test.
Which is grid test, exactly. Or like street magic videos or whatever. But like we all know, or maybe you don't, but like those street magic videos, like those are the best performances I had that day, right? But I filmed for maybe 8 hours and we kept the good ones, right? And that's just what goes into filming, is that a lot, especially magic, right? Because magic is a performance art, and you're not dealing, you know, with a canvas or anything. You're dealing with people. People are your tools, right? And you know,
they differ.
Yeah, and they differ, and the reaction's different, and how they see magic and everything. So that it won't always go smoothly. It'll never always go smoothly. And like, I don't know if you watched that video where I was doing breakfast television, right? They gave the guy the cards. I was like, show. I was like, I just like picture that meme face, just like, what is he doing? And he's like, literally, like he just went like full retard for like. I was like, what are you? No. And I asked him before. I was like,
just do something else. Just take the deck away and do something else.
Yeah,
like,
and I was like, it's so cringy.
We can do this. I'm like, no.
I was cringing, but I wasn't too worried. But like, I could have like switched it, shuffled, and then mine would have been nothing, and then his would have been the reveal, which is how you're supposed to do it in that case if someone messes with it. But I was just like, no, I want the reveal. I was like, shuffle like this, and I was like placing it. I was like, stop, don't move. So I mean, but you know, I got home, I got that footage, and I was like, I think I called you even, and I looked at it, and I was like,
should I post it?
Should I post it? Like whatever, you know. And then Pete's like, I don't know, like maybe you should. And I'm just looking at it, I was like, you know what? Like, who cares? Like really, I'm not trying to tell you guys that I'm like literally like a good magician or the best magician or whatever. Like
never mess
everybody messes up. Everybody. There's no, and how, I get a lot of questions. How do you get out of it? Like whatever way you can. Like honestly, like you're on your own. Peace. But like just like it's through experience. It's through, you know, doing it over and over again. Maybe having, you know, a backup joke or something is an option, but normally you just wing it, right? And use your collective.
But I think like you're a naturally funny guy, and I think sometimes just being honest with a spectator and being like, and turn it over, and you get this big reveal, and it's the 4 clubs, and they turn it over, and it's the Jack of Diamonds, and you're like, well, that didn't work at all. Yeah. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Where do you guys want to go eat?
Yeah. Like what's for dinner?
Sometimes that gets like as good of a reaction as if it was the 4 clubs.
And a lot of times, like, I mean, they don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
That's the big thing about magic. Like, no one has an idea what
the
hell you're doing.
Except for like, oh, I've seen this one. I know this one.
Yeah. They'll think they know, right? But then you do it, and you do the miss, like, you miss the card or whatever. It's happened to me countless times, like in performance and close-up or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, and the card jumps to the top, right? Furrowing my brow like an asshole. And they're like, it's not my card, right? And I'm like, oh, well, what was your card? And then they're like, do I tell you? I was like, oh, yeah, tell everybody, so we all know, right? And they're like, 2 diamonds. Like, 2 diamonds. Oh, interesting, there is no 2 diamonds in the entire deck, you know? Because I've called it to my pocket. It's all, you know, so like sometimes it's just like, oh, I don't know, just go through it. But they honestly don't even know what the hell you're doing.
No, like you'll hear them
most of the
talking
time,
to their friends.
like, you know, neither do you. You're just kind of like, oh, okay, how do we get out of this?
you'll hear them like recalling it, being like, and then we thought he messed it up, and
Yeah,
then it came
yeah,
out of
the
his
greatest
pocket.
trick ever.
Then you're like, all right, next time I'm
'Cause
going
that's
to
the
purposely
thing,
mess it
yeah.
up. So
Yeah, I've had like reveals go wrong where the guy's like, okay, this is actual gig. It's like 4 years ago. It's like, oh, let's collectively make a card, right? And whatever, blah, blah, blah. 7 of clubs came up right at the end. And I
20
had,
minutes later.
I had like, I had like an invisible deck, right? So I was like, 7 of clubs, right? And for some reason, I don't know what I was thinking, but I got the 3 of clubs out, right? So I'm like 3 of clubs. I was like, wait, that's only half of the trick. And so I had a brainwave in this pocket. I pulled the brainwave out. And I'm like,
God.
Boom, 4 of clubs. Put those together. They're like, oh, got him.
You got exact change in your pocket. And you're like thumbing off.
Yeah,
7
one
cents.
off. Damn. Yeah. I mean, so as far as like performance goes and that type of stuff, and even video, like it's okay. It's okay to not be perfect. Mind you. This is a different thing. There's a place and time for not being perfect, right? When you're doing something, when you're performing something on video, you have all the opportunities for that trick to look amazing, right? So if the end goal isn't, oh, I'm going to show you how I got out of this trick that I messed up. If the end goal is, I want to show you this trick, take your time, film it 100 times if you need to. And if you can't get it, put it away and do it some other day, because we all know that feeling when we order that product or we just learn this new thing and we're like, can't wait to show it off, right? Boom, turn on the camera, 2 performances, like, got it, right? Week later, I guarantee like most of you have done this and you look back and you're like, oh, probably should have done that. Maybe I should have waited. I got it better now. Like maybe I could refilm it. Maybe I'll delete the other one, right? So just sometimes like if there's like this little voice telling you that you could have done it better, right there, that's where you need to stop. That's where you need to redo it again, reshoot it. I've shot stuff like literally, not even lying, 60 times in a row to get it perfect. And not saying that all the other times weren't good or acceptable, they weren't perfect. And I'm on camera, there's angles, you can slow it down, you can zoom in, right, nowadays. On YouTube, you've got like the point, YouTube is the worst for that. Like magicians hate that. The 0.25, where you can slow that shit down, like that was made for magic videos. I guarantee you. We're like, oh, what is this?
There's someone at YouTube who's like, nope,
like
not anymore.
We literally like worked so hard for it to be like indiscernible to the human eye, but now they're like, well, fuck the human eye. We're gonna use a computer's eye and see how deep we can go into your move here.
Oh no, a frame went missing.
Exactly. Yeah. Where'd that frame go? Yeah. So that's not cool for magicians, but we got to work around that. I have people comment that sometimes. They're like, "Well, if you slow it down," I'm like, "Yeah."
That's one of the problems that like I run into, like being the guy that shoots everything for Illusionist. Like cameras are so good now that even someone will do a move flawlessly, and I'll be like, "No,
yeah,
you gotta do it again." They're like, "What?" And I'm like, "No, I can see everything."
They don't understand.
Turn it around, show them a 4K version, like close up on their hands, and they're like, "What?" I'm like, I don't know. I guess I could drop it to 720p if that's gonna help you, but like, come on, like 4K, like, 720p. What?
Definitely.
Shoot this on high 8 then. May
It's
as well.
definitely a thing. But like, all I was trying to say is like, at the end of the day, if you're filming yourself, even if it is with a phone or if it's with whatever you want to film, just make sure like you're extremely happy with the take. And if you have any questions on like how to make it look nice or whatever, Pete's actually started his YouTube channel like a month ago, like, and jumped from like 600 to like 20,000 subs in like a month. It's insane.
Crazy.
But he teaches like all sorts of like video stuff. So like how to take good shots with your iPhone and that type of thing. So a lot of tricks there that you guys can use for that. So. Pete's actually, mentored me in a lot of ways for video because this guy, he does this professionally, cinematographer and photographer. So a lot of what I've learned was from hanging around guys like Pete and Pete himself on set or watching your videos or looking back and just, gathering all this type of information that I can. But obviously YouTube is a great resource for learning everything. And, video making no exception. You can definitely learn anything you need to know that's out there. But if I'm gonna start opening it up to questions though. If you guys have questions on like video, on whatever, on magic, on whatever it may be, please, like we'll do that. We got a mic as well if you need it. If you don't, then yes. Hi.
I'm Laura. Congratulations on the 100,000
Thank you. Thanks so much.
subscribers, and my husband is one who loves you. I've learned recently.
I love him too.
But you know what? I am very interested in YouTube, and what you were saying about engagement just kind of clued in for me because some of the videos I've seen, like just the street magic versus your actual, like you said, an artwork.
Yeah.
The way it's been shot, the way the close-ups
Yeah.
are, the different filters, and I think how does YouTube
Yeah.
really the work that you're doing is
Yeah.
way more important than what this girl got under her Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So do they say anything to you about that?
No, like there is no like there's they don't tell us
Big
anything.
world.
But,
This girl gets more hype than you do.
yeah, but like that's I think a normal thing. I think like everybody's competing with like the unboxing of toys like online. It's completely insane. Like kids, because the thing is, kids will watch that 28 times in a row. Nobody watches them stream Magic 20 times in a row, you know? I've seen it 3 times. Like, so like kids watching stuff, they'll be like, boom, and they'll like it. And if you tell a kid, like this video for more videos, what does a kid do? They're like, oh, hell yeah. like. Mom, where's the credit card? We got to give these people money. They're doing unboxing videos for us, right? So like they have this audience which is super engaging, you know, like that's just
honestly good on them.
Yeah. It's massive. It's actually like one of the bigger like things in YouTube is like unboxing, and then toys, like toy reviews is like the biggest thing. But yeah, like I mean that's also a thing. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like Magic is a weird thing because there's like two separate people who watch Magic, right? There's obviously magicians, and then there's people who are just want to see a Magic video. So having that in mind, definitely thinking about lay people, pardon the term, but like people who don't perform Magic, when doing a video, having them in mind, you're definitely going to reach a broader audience. However, you might get crucified by magicians, right? So there's this like give and take where you kind of have to like, which is like I like the street magic thing that I did because that in a sense, it does cater to some magicians. It does cater because there are routines there that you're like, wait, like I've never seen that before, right? So you kind of wink at them, but then you also have that nice sort of emotional attachment for a viewer that doesn't care about magic, that just wants to see a nice video. So, you know, but thanks for that. I just I can't compete with and I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I've thought about like doing unboxing videos. Like it's just legit.
We'll start our own channel together, unboxing.
Just toy reviews. Anybody else? Yes. What's your name?
Hassan.
Hassan.
So my question is, which do you prefer, learning magic from YouTube videos
Yeah.
or reading books?
Okay. I don't learn magic from YouTube. I've scarcely learned magic from YouTube. Like if I've learned anything, it's mostly in performances. That being said, here's the thing about books. Like a lot of people get discouraged with books, especially like the younger generation, because like they're just don't care, right? Which is cool. But the thing about books is that we're not saying read the whole book, read all the books. That's not how you learn magic. You learn magic by sourcing things, right? So and that's a big misconception with a lot of people, and they get scared. It's like, how am I supposed to read all these books? How have you read 500 books? You know what I mean? And the truth is I haven't. I've read snippets here and there and what I needed to know. So a lot of times I'm looking for a routine or an idea, and then I look for the tools. And this comes back to cinematography as well. This is a very, very important thing. So many people work around the method, and so you guys are looking for new methods, right? You're constantly looking for new methods so that you can create effect with a new method, right? But that's kind of like buying a ring light and not knowing why you bought a ring light. You're just like, looks cool, I'm gonna film a ring light video, right? And so your whole video now has this constraint where you need to film around that ring light. You need to film around this one piece of, that means you can't go outside, you can't, right? Because you're in this box. And so magic is kind of the same way. So instead of looking at something and saying, well, I'm gonna learn this method and then come up with a trick, which could be done, which has been done before, and I've done it as well. It's much easier and much more gratifying and much more profound when you think of an effect. Think of what you want to leave a spectator with, what you want to leave someone with, and then try to figure out how you're gonna do that. And look for the tools. And then you're gonna be like, boom, I need to know how to control the third card to the whatever, bam, bam, bam. And you start looking, right? You go online, you're typing in, YouTube, whatever, Magic Cafe, go to the library, call a friend, all these things. And maybe at the end of the day, damn, there is no method. So what do? Well, I'll make my own, right? And that's kind of like how creating comes about. But so many people are caught up within methods, which is why I don't necessarily go to YouTube, because if I need a method, I'll find it. But if I need an effect, inspiration, that's where I go to YouTube. I'll watch guys like Darren Brown or David Blaine, like these guys, right? Or sometimes a movie or a song, and that gives you like, oh, wouldn't that be interesting? Chris Mayhew here is a great magician, by the way. He's He always gets these. Yeah, round of applause for Mayhew for sure. Chris is a friend of mine, and I love Chris because he always comes up with these like abstract concepts, like based on like
So
science or physics, but they're so out of the box. Like no one else could think of these things, right? And so the effect that he's giving to a spectator is something so unique that it's not like this commercial card trick or anything. It's really unique to him and his style, and I really like that about him. And I wish I could do a lot more of that. So
Yeah.
thanks for that, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Who are you? Who the fuck is that guy? That's Eric Leclerc, if you guys don't know Eric. All right, any other question? Yes, we'll get to all of you. Yes?
Okay, sorry, you just mentioned with her question that
Yep.
Sometimes there's like the like magicians are kind of like, oh, why are you putting videos that aren't magic related?
Right.
Do you feel like it hurts the channel in a way where like you have videos that are like strictly just magic and there's videos like of your daily routine?
Right.
Like how do you try to like give the best of both worlds? And like, how do you...
That's a good question. It's something I thought of a lot. And I think the thing is about me is like magic is just a big part of my life. It's what I work in. It's literally like what I think about all day. So it's not hard for me to introduce a little bit of magic into my vlog because I do that innately. I do that anyways, right? But I have thought about it where sometimes I'm like, I have nothing magic related in this vlog. What do I do with it, right? And at the end of the day, I think it comes down to filtering out the people who follow you. You know, if people don't want to follow you because you don't constantly talk about magic 24 hours a day, that's cool. That's their choice. I'm not, you know, I'm actively for anyone unsubscribing to anyone at any time, including myself, including anybody else. I think that's your choice. I think when you start, you know, subscribing to people and like it's like this weird like Instagram. It's like, you know, it happens us a lot, right? Where like I'm like, oh, I can't stand this guy's content. I just don't. It's not for me. I unfollow, and I get a text. Yo, bro, why'd you unfollow me?
Yeah.
Notify people when you
I thought we had
So
some.
they have like apps that notify them, and they're like, yo, bro, we've been friends for 6 years.
Yeah, did I say something? What happened?
Yeah, what happened? Was it something I said? And we're like, no, it's just.
I'm just bored. I just don't like your photos.
Yeah, it literally boils down to that, right?
Sorry.
But it's such a weird thing where we're all like, but the subscribers, but then
It's like digital friends are as like, they'd see that as like the friendship is now off.
Yeah, right.
Like Chris unfollowed me, like we're done.
Yeah, like at least Facebook
no.
allows you to like unfollow without unfriending, which is nice.
Yeah.
But like you know you can't
Yeah, no.
unfollow Instagram without unfollowing them, right?
Yeah. We've
But-
both done tests on that. We've been like, okay, on the count of 3, let's both unfollow this guy. Boom, and like within 10 minutes, like
We'll
one of
get
our
text.
phones will
I
ring.
don't think it's like, no, bro, sorry. It's just like literally your content's shit. So.
Yeah.
I just can't take it. I can't take it. I'm being honest. I'm being a friend. I'm telling you this. You know, I'll help you out. Get it back there. I'll come back.
ever feel like there's an obligation to unfollow you?
Well, that's what
Follow them back?
that's kind of the thing where like we're talking about, and I don't think there should be. And I'm a big advocate for following or unfollowing whoever the hell you
Whoever
want,
you want, yeah.
or blocking, deleting, doing whatever you want. It's you are like the god of your social media, right? You can control what happens. It's all you, and so it's catered to you. It shouldn't be about anyone else. It should be about what you like, and that's it. Like I mean, if you're my friend and I unfollow you, I'm still gonna hang out with you. We're still gonna hang out, right? Like, I mean, that'd be just a weird thing if you're like, oh, he doesn't follow me on Instagram anymore. Like, who cares?
Chris, I don't follow you.
Yeah, there's a great example. I don't even think I follow you either. Do I follow you? No. I think I used to,
Who
though.
cares?
You're the example we're talking about right now.
Unlike celebrities where you have like they got millions of
Yeah.
followers, and you look at who they're following, it's like one person.
Yeah.
Or like 0, and you're like, oh, this guy.
Yeah, I'll unfollow a lot of people like just constantly just because like, I don't know. I just like to filter it down to what I want to see.
I just like to refresh my content every now and then because you check your phone all the time. Like
Same
you
stuff.
guys, it's a problem, right? It's like it's an addiction. So you're checking it all the time. You're seeing the same people. Sometimes it's nice to just blast them all and just find new friends online to follow. And then it's like, oh, this is fun. This is like I just downloaded the app.
Yeah.
You ever put like rules for like, I'll only follow someone if I've met them in person or something?
Sometimes, like not really, no. It's more about the content. Sometimes it is about the person, but I usually end up unfollowing them. And I tell them straight up. I tell them, I'm like, oh, I'll give you a follow, but I might unfollow you. They're like, what? Why? I'm like, well, just because like I unfollow a lot of people that, you know, I don't like their photos.
I just like
People take it really personally, but I'm like, I'm sorry, you're not a photographer. I don't like your photos. Like I follow photographers.
I think it's important to just like the people that you choose to give your time to online, I think those people should inspire you in some way.
Yeah, but
So
also like feel free to unsubscribe to like me and him, and like that's the point we're trying to make. It's not just like, oh, we decide, like whatever. Like no, it's like it's your shit. Like you know what I mean? If you don't want to watch something, don't feel like you have to watch it just because you want someone's acknowledgement or someone you're friendship. Like just do what you want, man. And if people don't get it, like they'll talk to you about it. You know, if they're really your friend.
If you drop below 100,000, do they take the party back?
Yeah, 100%.
Everybody unfollow Chris when you get home.
Yeah. That'll be the new hashtag. Unfollowed.
Start dragging stuff off.
Yeah. I'm not finished.
He's got to peel the sticker off his laptop.
Okay, another question. We'll go back here. Yep. What's your name?
Eli,
Eli. Nice to meet you.
what are your thoughts on like having magic that really has a story versus doing something that's just like supervision?
Yeah. That's it's two types of magic. It really is two types, and I think that's okay. You know, there's so many debates on that with especially like the older generation magicians, where like or even Spanish. The Spanish school of magic is very story-based oriented. Guys like Gabby Pereira or you know Juan Tamariz, they're very very story oriented. Whereas the Western magic is more like flashy, boom boom boom, right? So it's really a choice. But I think that all depends on what you want to leave your audience with, right? So, and then we can get into like a big debate about this. But like for me, there's also a line of ethics. It's like, okay, a story is a story, but like, are you lying to them, or are they aware that what you're saying is fiction? And that's with magic especially a very important thing, because unlike any other art form where you can literally change someone's objective view on reality, right? And that's a scary thing to do to someone. So okay, this is a story, but without saying in so many words that this is a story, how are you going to convey to them that this is fiction, but still captivate them and still astound them? And
I think there's a middle line there, especially for you, where it doesn't have to be a story. It can be
Doesn't- yeah.
super interesting. Your
Anecdote.
First line, like, for me, when my favorite, when you start a trick, there's no way anybody's not paying attention. You'd be like, everybody walking in your house, like in the dark, and you walk upstairs and you miss that last step. You'd be like, what the hell? You'd be like, yeah. Watch the wheel float or whatever.
That framing is important, I think.
Yeah.
Putting a mental framing in their mind will actually ultimately allow them to perceive the effect a certain way.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
And
a vicious card, if you suddenly put the plot of deja vu
Yeah.
on that card, it's no longer the card rising to the top. It's now that card is
Right.
going back through space.
And they don't necessarily believe that what they've witnessed was deja vu.
Right.
But that doesn't take away from the
Frames it in
astonishment that
mind.
they felt, right? Exactly. So that's the kind of thing. It's like we all know that Star Wars was done with CGI, right? And sorry if you didn't, but yeah. But like you walk in there, but we're not like, yeah, CGI, totally, except the last Rogue One. Everybody see Rogue One?
Yeah.
He
was bad, man.
looked like he was embalmed.
I said
Like,
that guy looked like he was embalmed.
yeah, like super CGI. But like aside from that, you're not watching it thinking
Tarkin.
that's CGI. Oh, they probably use this type of processor with this type of green screen over here. No, you're just enjoying the damn movie, right?
Yeah.
And we ask ourselves, well, why can't we do that? Why do spectators not just enjoy the damn trick, right? Why can't they just enjoy the magic? Well, it's partially for reasons unknown that you could never know, because they're a completely different person and their neighbor might be a magician who they fucking hate, right? So there's no way you can know that, right? So what I'm saying is that like that's out of your control. But the things that are in your control are up to you to try to create that environment where you can connect with somebody, where you're authentic, where you're being just sort of real. And because the second you're not, the second it's about you and impressing them, people are intelligent. And a lot of people, especially magicians, so quick to say, oh, flies by laymen. Just laymen don't understand it, right? We're so quick to say that, but lay people are smarter than us. That's the thing. That's the reality of it. Lay people are very, very smart. And to think that like we know more than them is very false, because you have no idea. I could fill up a room in Las Vegas with 1,000 spectators, right, from Las Vegas, and do a show and get reactions. But then I could fill up a room in Las Vegas with 1,000 people from a third world country. I'll get completely different reactions, right? So to say that laymen are all the same, and people are from different walks of life, and they will often even be polite to you and say to you, oh, that was really good. And they don't necessarily feel the need to be like, I know how you did it, right? I know how you did it. And so, you can change it. And then how do you not make it a puzzle? How do you make it engaging? How do you connect with somebody without coming off like an asshole who knows everything? Like, those are really good questions, but ultimately, like, I don't have those answers. It's just up to you to, you know, find that out about yourself, and yeah.
What is kind of interesting, I was thinking about this, was because as a magician, you always want to just show the magic and have them just appreciate the entertainment without trying to figure it out. But in magic, in order for the magic moment to actually inspire in the head, they have to, on some level, think about the trick and think about the possible methods for it to work. And once they come to a conclusion that there is no method they can think of, that is the moment that the magical moment happens.
Yeah.
And so it is important that, because magicians a lot of times they always like, just watch the trick, don't try to figure it out.
Yeah.
But they have to, on some level, try to figure out the trick.
Right. On some level, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Definitely.
It comes down to if they like you, they'll like what you do. Like all the magicians are like, what if you do? You got invisible deck on your hands. What do you do when someone else to show the cards? It's never happened.
Yeah, that's true.
If they get that hint of challenge, like you said, or arrogance, it's over. Like,
If they love you, it doesn't matter what you do. If they hate you, it doesn't matter what you do, and that's the bottom line, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the biggest advice for magicians. Like, what do you do? Like, how do people think it's real? Like, people don't react to my stuff. Well, it's human. It's not the trick. We know a physical deck is super powerful. You do it, make it free. But if it comes down to
and we know,
out of your mouth, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And
You've got to set that ground. Like, you got to pave the way.
yeah, and if you're going to create a puzzle for them to figure out, then it's up to them to figure it out, right? Like, so if I go, hey, nothing on my sleeves, look, nothing here, normal deck. This deck is this card is normal. Look, inspect my pocket. You're giving them all these things, right? So they're like, okay, well, where's the trick then? Well, what do I have to look for?
I didn't see his hat.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see his hat. He didn't show me. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're giving them like the open door to like ask questions, right? When you're like, nothing on my sleeve, look, my hands are empty, nothing over here. So you have to expect them to be like, well, okay, well then how's he gonna do it? You're giving them the okay, and that's okay too. That's fine. But as long as you're not just angry at them for wanting to know how it's done, I want to know how a trick's done when I see it. Like if I don't understand it, right? I'm like, well, how's that done?
All the magicians started out as assholes that want to know how it was done.
That's true. Yeah, we saw a beautiful piece of sleight of hand or whatever, and we just started appreciating the mechanics behind it, right? And like there's some people collect clocks because they're beautiful, and some people build them, right? And you can appreciate both in different ways. So that's fine. Yeah.
I think one of the major points that a lot of magicians struggle with is kind of building their brand and selling themselves. Any insights, pointers on what has kind of gotten you to the point of success that you're at now, as far as valuing yourself, being able to sell yourself as a product, and really marketing yourself and growing your brand?
Yeah.
There's your t-shirt.
There it is. Do you like it?
I was actually going to say, I want that with white on a purple shirt, and my husband will buy it.
Yeah? Sweet. Maybe I'll make it happen then. Thanks. Yeah, I think for me, I can only speak for myself, but for me, branding, a big part of branding is aesthetics. Is what looks good to me, what feels good to me, what sounds good to me, what's they say perfection isn't when you can't add anything anymore. It's when you can't take anything more away, right? And so to get that down, to siphon that down to like that perfect thing that you want for now, which in 2 weeks I might look at it and be like, oh no, I gotta do this. But to always constantly, consciously filter down to what it is that I love and what it is that that makes my eye like it. And you can't teach someone to appreciate like a painting, right? It's just either you do or you don't, right? And so I think you just develop a palette for like art and stuff. The longer that you pursue it, and the longer that you're in it, and the more you reach outside of magic, the more books you read, the more museums you go to, and the more music you listen to, and the more you draw, the more you play an instrument or edit photos and videos, you start developing like an artistic sort of palette, and that just sort of it gives you more direction for your brand, how you want it to be, how you want it to be perceived. And Pete, if you've seen Pete's videos and everything he does, is just stellar quality through and through. Just you look at it and there isn't a ripple, there isn't a wrinkle. Everything is exactly the way it should be, right? And then you look at your video and you're like, oh, fuck, I could have trimmed the fat on that. I could have cut that a little bit. I could have overlapped the music to go with that. I could have made a sound effect here. I could have, And so looking at that, for sure, Pete's first video he did wasn't like that, right? But it's going through it, refining your palette, getting your hands dirty, and just really being conscious of how you want it to look at the end of the day. And don't settle for something you don't like. Just that's all I can say about that. But yeah.
Like speaking in terms of like video and becoming better, like how did you guys start? Like was it like did you learn by yourself?
I started with a phone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, iMovie.
Yeah. Okay.
When I was doing videos on Instagram,
Okay.
iMovie.
And it's just practice and just.
Yeah, I just I started looking at my videos and I was like, oh, what don't I like about this? Oh, well, first off, it's not straight. Straight, right? It's like, I don't like this orange light. Maybe I'll bring a white light in here. Huh? Bring a white light. Boom. Oh, suddenly it's, oh, look at that. The definition is higher. So music. Oh, maybe I want the drop to be on the card change. People are going to go nuts when the drop hits that the card changes. That's revolutionary. So it's like, hell yeah, right? That dubstep in there. Blah, blah, blah. The card's changing, right? That's, yeah, right? So like these things, you just like, you do them and you're like, oh, that would be cool, that'd be cool. And you kind of like it builds, right?
It starts with what you like.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, it also starts with what you don't like. So like, you're going to know what you don't want to do. So you're going to start doing things that you think look good and what feels good and what inspires you. And it kind of goes, I just say just start. Less about in your head about like, what am I going to do for it? Just start. Start shooting. And like you said, like you'll start developing like, oh, this isn't straight, throw it on a tripod. Or you know what, it's a bit gray, like I want more color in it, how can I do that? And then you're going to develop your own needs, which you will satisfy through correcting your shooting habits.
But never think that somebody else's work, never think that you're never going to be like that.
Yeah.
Never for once think that video there, that's Hollywood. That's not me, that's Hollywood. Because that's the biggest BS, that's the biggest lie of all.
That could be some guy in his garage
Literally.
with like the most makeshift
Pete films
setup.
videos that are better than some Hollywood movies. Like, and he does. Like the quality of the video is outstanding, is like so crazy, right? And you're like, how can any human without $1 million budget create this beautiful video like Pete's doing? And he does it. So it's not like, when you see these things, they're not unattainable, they're just, how do I get there? And then you improve, you buy little gear, and YouTube tutorials, and you just grow. Yeah.
Hi, Drew.
Drew, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. That being said, what kind of setup are you guys using? Like, what kind of lens are you guys using? Are you recording audio separately?
Good question. We actually talk about this quite a bit, Pete and I. Pete.
Yeah, I think it depends on like the project necessarily. So I do record audio off camera a lot of the times. Like if it's going to be like a good interview, or I know it's going to be like rich content, and Chris has a story or someone has a story that I really, really want to make sure is heard well, I'll record that audio off camera. What do you use? And then I'll sync it in post. There's a device called an H4n. It's called like a field recorder, and you plug lav mics into that, and then you would have to hit record, and then you shoot, and then you sync it in post. Back in the day, it was really hard to sync audio. You had to line them all up, make sure you had like a clapboard or some kind of marker. Now you can just drag over the clips, right-click, merge clips, and it's done. First time I saw that, I was like, no, why? All those hours wasted. So that's really good to sync audio. Lenses are such a tricky business, because a lens is gonna determine like how someone feels when they watch your footage, right? A really wide lens is gonna promote like excitement and really like in someone's face, and it's gonna get you really like amped up. You can see the whole atmosphere. You can be really close, and it just pulls people in.
There's that GIF we looked at the other day, which is a great thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a great little like GIF online.
Is it GIF or it's GIF?
I say GIF.
Yeah? It's not GIF, it's GIF.
Yeah, it's GIF. This isn't peanut butter.
Is it GIF?
It's GIF.
GIF?
It's GIF.
Right. Yeah, gonna go see Guardians of the Galaxy.
But yeah, there's a great, like this kid put a tripod out and took a photo of him at like every focal length. And you can really see how his face changes.
It like goes from like, he like skinnies out, right? It's like, and it's so mind-blowing seeing that for the first time, what all these different lenses do, and just that is a really valuable piece of information.
Because it'll add weight to your face. It'll take weight off your face. So it'll compress the background. It'll not compress the background. So depending on the story that you want to tell, or depending on how you want your audience to perceive what you're creating, lens choice is a huge factor in that. Yep. So I think the first step is figuring out what you're shooting and how you want it to feel. So currently, to answer the question, I'm using Canon 5D Mark III. With 24mm fixed 1.4 lens, so pretty wide,
but just I think perfect for like
Good all-rounder.
yeah, good all-arounder. There's no zooming or anything like that, and I use a Rode mic on top, plug it directly into the DSLR because what I do is a lot of vlogging, and I'll usually just like that whatever sound I get because you plug it directly into the DSLR, I'll just usually mask it in post or add some music, some ambient music so you won't hear it. Yeah.
With a vlog, like being more like lax is acceptable kind of thing. I mean, I guess it depends what you want to portray as well. But yeah, we just throw Rode mics on top of our cameras when we're vlogging, and then if it's like a project people are going to pay money for and stuff like that,
We'll get the lav mic.
we'll get the Zoom, the H4n, and we'll put more work. Filters, like
I know I love playing with filters.
yeah, like I color correct all my footage. I use Premiere Pro. Jesse. I used to use Final Cut, but I switched over to Premiere. But
I use Final Cut. You Final Cut too, Jesse?
Yeah.
Did you get Color Premiere, Color Finale?
Good. It's so
Dope,
much
right?
better.
I know,
much
so
better.
good.
Like when Chris develops more in his photography, he'll start using Premiere.
So here's the thing. I got here and I was super adamant. Like when I did this, when I did the next up thing, I was like, you know what? I want to learn Premiere because I want to color correct my stuff. I want to look so good when it goes on camera. So I got here. I was like, let's do it. And then I learned it, and I was like, it's so counterintuitive right now because I've learned Final Cut.
Yeah.
And then we had a friend here. His name. Losing no. There's somebody Arthur. He was an expert in post editing, and he's like, oh, there's this thing called Color Finale. It's $100, and it's literally like an editing color correction program plug-in for Final Cut. So I was like,
yeah,
didn't have to lose anything.
Well, speed is a big issue. Like,
huh? Yeah, it's like you got like one color wheel and like it's really terrible. So this one really allows you to play the gamma and all sorts of.
I mean, like whatever you use is fine as long as you're like proficient in it. So I think when it stops delivering like what you need it to deliver is when you switch to something else.
Yeah.
And I've
So
seen your video on all the little hacks and stuff. So
Yeah.
There's like the steady cam out of the belt and everything
Yeah.
like that. I'm assuming when you were doing things normally, you don't use your belt.
no, like so I did a video like a month ago on 8 camera hacks in 90 seconds, and it's just like a bunch of stuff that I use in the field. But the whole point of that video is like, if we're somewhere where like we have nothing and like we forgot the tripods or I don't have anything on me, how can I improvise and come up with the same sort of thing that's going to deliver me that same shot, but with what I have on me.
Like the Bear Grylls of photography.
So I take my belt off, wrap it around my camera, and I swing it for a steady cam, right? So no, not ideal. I'm not going to be like, don't bring your slider, I got a belt. But if I don't have this, you forgot the slider? And you're like, yeah, I'll be like, oh, Chris.
Yeah. I'll be like, not again. Yeah.
I know the landscape's a little bit different now with
Yep.
everything online, but would you say there's an external platform that helped jumpstart your success on YouTube?
Reddit.
What do you mean? What do you mean by external platform?
Like a social media platform
Oh.
from like Facebook to Instagram,
Right.
to Twitter to Reddit to some magic website.
Say authenticity.
Or was it an individual or was it just YouTube?
It's I've always had like more of a following on like Instagram at first, and just I don't even know why. Just like I guess people just like the photos and videos, the originality of them, and it was like back when Instagram was like 15 seconds, so you'd have to like crunch time, and it was kind of cool. Yeah, it wasn't until like.
Dan and Dave, did that like help?
Oh yeah, that's also good. Like I did a project with Dan and Dave, did a project with Illusionist. I mean, it got my name out there a little bit more. So I think when somebody, because YouTube is like the #1 like reference for searching anything, right? Like almost, besides Pornhub. But there's a. But you would type into YouTube. You type in like. Whatever, Chris Ramsay does the trade. You hear my name or whatever. You type it in, and you get video pop up. So I think just innately, I think YouTube, if you're on YouTube and also on the other social media platforms, no matter what happens to you in your outside world, in the real world, or online, I think we'll eventually go back to YouTube more so, or Facebook, right? But we don't say the F word around here. So more so YouTube than anything else. So I think it's just like I was happy the day like my YouTube surpassed my Instagram and everything else, and
Yesterday.
it just happened to this guy
Yesterday.
yeah. So it's just more of a community,
Yeah,
I think, on
100%.
YouTube than it is like Instagram used to be. Actually, Instagram used to be like a really sick community where
you feel like you're actually contributing to people's lives on
Yeah.
this platform. Like I put up videos and I'm literally reading comments of people being
Yeah.
like, I needed this today. I'm gonna finally take the step I needed to do what I want to do for a living.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
wow.
Instagram used to be that for a
I
lot,
didn't
especially
get
in the
that
magic
from-
community. But like it's since the F Storm came along, right?
Yeah.
They bought it up, and then it's become very much like
Different.
ad based and like which every platform has ads and stuff like that, which is fine. But YouTube just feels like, I don't know, it's easier to access for a lot of people. I think they just know about it more.
Yeah, ask that just because, like, in the beginning for anybody, right? It's without that,
Yeah.
it just seems like
Yeah. How do you get a following, right?
How do you break into it?
Yeah.
be able to find you on anything. If you post it, they will come.
Yeah, dude. I think like you just gotta start. I think you
It's-
just gotta pick up a camera and start.
It's also about hero content, right? It's about something that everybody can enjoy. So if you do all these little magic tricks and stuff in front of the camera or whatever performances, like for the most part, I can probably even say, like, and myself included, we are literally performing for other magicians, right? That's what we're doing. We're putting up videos to show other magicians, right? Very seldom do we, like, I mean, I'm sure all of your following consists of probably more magicians than lay people, right? For the most part, right? I'm not stepping on any toes. This is, for the most part, we have a massive sort of community, which is amazing, right? But at the same time, if you want to branch out and if you want to really like to blow up, really cater to people who don't do magic. Really cater to them in an original way, because they will see if it's not original right away. That's hack line, right? So
There's social proof of that too. Like
Yeah.
you'll post a photo of a dog and it'll get 900 likes, and you'll put a playing card next to that dog and it's 9,000 likes.
it's insane, right? So that's the reality we live in, which is cool. But if you do want to reach out, you do have to start to cater to a broader audience and make it more appropriate to them. Or, just a lot of times it's not even about performing a trick that you bought or a trick that you learned. It's about coming up with your own version of that, right? And stuff like that. That gets notoriety a lot in the community. People are like, oh, damn, this guy's got ideas, and then they'll start sharing it around, that type of thing. Yes?
To keep brainstorming on that.
Yeah?
I know we are at a particular time now. I don't know when you started to do magic,
Mhm.
probably pre-internet thing.
Yeah.
How much now in your career, how much do you see yourself as more a content producer
Yeah.
than actually a magician, a
Yeah.
performer?
Yeah.
What's the balance in your life? And how do you think, like the vision,
Mhm.
of course, of your channel is building your brand, but also you see a lot of people here, so it's inspiring people.
Yeah.
What is it, content producer
Yeah.
or actually performer?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Thanks. What's your name? Matt? Oh, Martin? Bart. Oh, enchanté, Bart. So, il pourrait.
What's happening?
So it's an interesting question, which is like I think what a lot of people, and I get asked this a lot, which is how do I turn what I'm doing right now into a career? How do I make a living out of what I love doing? How do I, make it on YouTube or whatever social media or perform in real life? And the answer is to have your hands in multiple pots. I think that is like the modern entrepreneur, is literally if you can have your hand in 20 different things and all different passions that you have, whether you like drawing, music, or all this, if you can start planting seeds in all of this and just investing your passion and heart into all of these different things, they will start to sprout. All these things will start to give. And it might not be much. Like Pete, I remember I was like, you gotta get on YouTube, buddy. And he's like, oh, I don't know, whatever. He called me up the first day. He's like, I made 91 cents on AdSense. This is incredible.
But that was
he's
a
like,
big moment.
I've been on Instagram for 5 years, never made a penny. He's like, this is huge for me, right? So the idea is to really like just go and if it's performing, if you love, I mean, it all depends on what you like doing. But I love performing, and I'll do maybe 3 to 4 gigs a month, right? Which is standard. I think I'm not doing like a restaurant or anything. I'm doing more corporate stuff. And I'll have that, and then I'll have obviously the content producer and product developer for Illusionists, and then do my own thing on my side, which is like the YouTube stuff. So, and I'm getting like royalties from tricks that I've sold before, like come in monthly. And so to just have my hand everywhere prevents me from A, being sick of what I'm doing, and B, from whatever I'm doing, prevents it from getting sick of me. And like, let's say I'm doing this one thing, which is performing, and I get sick of it. Right? I can't deal with hecklers or fucking lay people. Fucking lay people, stupid. I can't. Right? Let's say I'm at that point. I just can't do it anymore. What do I do after that? Right? Then I'm left empty-handed, and I have to like start anew on, let's say, YouTube, or let's say whatever else. But if you do all these things and divide your time up between the things you love, it doesn't have to be magic. It could be anything. You'll start to see, like, it'll start to bear fruit, and then all of a sudden you're making a living off of these multiple incomes, and you're never ever scared again to lose anything. Because if you lose this over here, you got all this to fall back on, and this still makes me happy. You know what I mean? Rather than losing that one thing you're doing, this one career, I'm gonna climb the ladder, gone, ooh, what do I do? Right?
As you said, it's really like the time, all the market, all the scene works.
Yeah.
And all those branch would like inspire each other.
Yeah.
Because you have to create content.
But like I said, I go to bed at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. It's not because I have all the time in the world. I'll make that time, and I know it sounds cliche, but like I will be sleep deprived doing what I love because I want to get it out there. It's just like, you know, boom. Now there was light. Yeah. So.
I know pre-internet time, there was always a performer magician and was a hobbyist magician.
Yeah.
And also people just writing about magic but never perform.
Right.
Like great theories.
Yeah.
And now you can be all of that.
You can be all that, and you can be a busker. You can be a consultant there's so many different avenues you can do. But let's say if you does anybody else have any other passions other than magic here? Music. Drawing. Chess, amazing. Graphic design. Every art form, right, there you go. So like you guys are already set because you can use any of that, all of that, and create just plant little seeds here and there. And you know, that doesn't stop you from having a job. And you can have a job and still have this little income coming on the side. And all of a sudden this income starts to become more than your actual job. And you're like, oh, damn, I'm gonna quit my job.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it's about. I think it's just literally just getting your hands in multiple pots, doing it all, doing as much as you can as long as you love every one of those things. Because if you get sick of something, you're screwed, you know?
And you feel pressure from the success of the channel to keep producing because it's very time.
There is a certain pressure, yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
You have about like an hour of relief after you upload a video and you're like, done.
We did.
And then an hour later you're like, oh, I gotta do another one.
Yeah, there is pressure.
Are you at the stage where you can hire people so you can just distribute?
Yes and no for some projects. For the projects that obviously not for the vlogs and stuff, but like for the bigger projects, definitely hiring people is a must. But yeah, it was again PewDiePie. He made this video recently where it's about like happiness, you know, and YouTubers always looking happy and always, because that's kind of what we want you to feel. We want you to be happy. That's why we put that out there. But we're not all happy all the time, right? So you know, definitely there is pressure. There is that social anxiety or whatever. But as long as you can fit it into a place where you still feel like you're happy doing it, then you know, keep burning the candle on both ends. You know. Yeah. So much like I mentioned before, mostly, I mean, there are hacks to like come up with tricks. One really good one is you grab a dictionary. Sounds random, and you open it up at a random page, and you point to a word, and that's the name of the effect, right? And so it sounds weird, but you can picture yourself doing this. Yeah, and I've come up with stuff using this, and what's cool about that is all that is an example of is it takes you out of your own mind. You're thinking literally outside the box. I can't tell you to think randomly, right? It's impossible. I can't say, think of a random thing. Everything you're going to think about has a reason for you saying it, right? But if I give you a random thing, now all of a sudden your options are opening because you never pictured this, right? So was it Ollie Mealing as well? He would take a deck of cards. He would look at something structurally, architecturally, and try to recreate it with the deck of cards in his hands. And that would put him in a weird position that he's never been in. Maybe there's a control here. Maybe there's a color change here. Maybe there's something I can do. in this position? Probably not, but maybe, right? And so just forcing yourself outside of those constraints is a really, really good tip. That's
Watching someone do that as an outsider would be awesome.
Completely insane, yeah. But yeah, it's just, what's he doing? He's a magician, shut up. But like for the yeah.
Magicians play with invisible thread because they always look absolutely crazy.
Yeah, but I think thinking outside the box is definitely one thing, but thinking of the effect is like the hardest thing, and that's where the art form comes in. If you can really think of like what you want to leave with someone, like you're like, oh, I had this effect where, I don't know, I want them to actually feel like they've just like they discovered a new element or something, like some random, right, whatever it is.
There's actually 4 new elements discovered.
All right, so it's not an original trick, right? That's cool.
Periodically.
Yeah, I published it last year, whatever. So, yeah.
Is there a spectator experience that sticks with you?
Yeah, every time.
Well, like, is there one that is like from like a reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I've had people cry, like multiple times, like literally, because I've shared just a really, really deep moment with them, right? Not so much like, hey, look at this trick, like, ooh, yeah. Like it was more of like an intimate setting, and so what I usually do in like my close-up stuff is what usually happens is that afterwards I'll sometimes have somebody come up to me and be like, you know, me and my wife, we absolutely loved you. We thought you were amazing. Could you show us just one more trick? Could you show? You know, I'll get that a lot, right? And that's where I'll really like bring it home, and I'll be like, okay, I can show you this one thing, but I don't normally show this to anybody, but I'm really, you know, I think you guys, so let's have a seat, right? Make it really intense, and then just do this routine with them or whatever. And I've had people, yeah, just like break down. But, you know, I think for the most part, when you, how do I say this? The spectator is important to the magic as the magician is, right? You can't have one without the other. You can't have a magic trick without a spectator. So keeping that in mind and making sure that they know that, and making sure that this wouldn't happen without the 3 elements here, the cards, me and you, none of this would happen, creates this sort of connection, like we're together in this, right? And that just opens like a dialogue up between you, even if you're not talking. It makes you feel comfortable with the other person, knowing that I'm here, I'm being genuine with you, I'm really talking to you, I'm not just talking at you, I'm responding to you, I'm not just going through lines, we're actually having a conversation, and we're going to try something interesting, and you know, we'll see how it goes. And those times, I'll remember their name, I'll remember what they look like. And so it's not just the spectator who's taking something away, but I'm taking something from the spectator, and that is a really, really cool moment. And that's why I think a lot of magicians can grow, is not so much, we measure magic tricks by how high a spectator jumps, by how loud they scream. But we forget to ask what compelled them to scream, or what compelled them to jump, right? What in their life made them feel that way? You know what I mean? We're just like, oh yeah, he screamed, oh, he jumped, he hopped the fence, right? And that's like, oh, it's a great trick. And that's what we see the trailers, oh, people going crazy. And you know, we forget to ask, well, why? Why are they doing that, right? Why? What compelled that particular human being to express himself that way? You know, and for the most part, you probably never know, but trying to find out and talking to them is going to help your magic grow so much more, just because you're going to be just a more approachable person with people rather than the magician, right? And so I don't know if that answers the question at all. You know, the question
Showing
was,
that vulnerability, I think, is
yeah, definitely. Vulnerability is the most beautiful human trait.
I think a lot of times magicians just want to show off how skilled they are,
Yeah.
rather than actually trying to build a moment with that individual and just build that connection.
Yeah.
The magic is literally the excuse to connect with someone.
Yeah, which is funny, right? Because we don't often use it for that reason. We use it to kind of impress them.
Peter Turner has a great lecture on remembering the power that you have, and that you're really touching someone and enjoy the moment, really connect with someone. And
Yeah.
he takes it so serious and so heartfelt. I love it.
Oh, definitely, yeah, and as do I. I think there's a time and place for it.
Yeah.
I think some people want to just have a laugh sometimes without consequence, and that's fine. But
Get deep at the bar, you know.
yeah, but yeah, sometimes there's a time and place for it. Definitely, if one trick you can all give yourselves, and you might already be doing it, is just right before I go perform, I remind myself to be open, to be vulnerable, and to just let things happen, and I remind myself to try and react to what they're saying to me. Because I'll watch video back of me, and I'll be like, oh, so you know what's funny about the camera here? This is a na-na. And they're like, oh yeah, my brother-in-law actually has one. And I'll be like, okay, so hold this here. And I give no shit about what they're saying, right? And I've caught myself, and I'm like, damn it, I should have just listened to them, to their story. This would have been such a better experience for them. And the thing is, I'm just running through the motions so I don't forget my part and all that. But at the end of the day, if you just remind yourself, man, I'm really going to try to be open for this, and I'm just going to let it ride and see how it goes. And you might fail, but chances are you might do really well and you might learn something. So, yeah, over here.
What if you what if you did that like with part of your character? Like your character was just unresponsive to the other person. Like
right.
Andy Kaufman had a character playing.
Yeah.
Just be an asshole to all the other.
Very few people can get away with that. This guy sitting here is one of those people who can be an asshole all day long and people still like him.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Sweetest thing anyone's ever said.
It's very true. I've seen it, and you know it. I've seen it happen. He's like, you know, there's David Williamson as well who can get away with that. So there are very few performers who can do that. So I would say to you, if that's your character, like just be careful on the water that you're treading, because it's very commit to it, but also yeah, definitely it's murky territory to play in. But yeah, if you're building a character, if that's the type of thing that you want to do, then yeah, 100% commit to it.
I wanted to go back a little bit where you tried to react to what we see in the trailer.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. When you throw a camera into someone's face,
Yep.
I feel like they act differently.
They could.
Situational, really. We did a shoot for Decibel in the summertime, and we shot it in this guy's recording studio. So we used his headphones, and Chris did the trick for him, and we just let the camera roll at the end of that trailer, if you guys remember it. And that guy had like a really strong reaction. Even with the cameras in his face, he kept making mention. He's like, oh my God, you guys are still filming. But I remember what he asked you. He's like, is this some like dark shit? Is this like?
He was serious.
He thought that like some Harry Potter stuff was going down, like legit. He was like, this guy's Slytherin, like 100%. You know, and that reaction went on for like 10 minutes.
It did. It did drag on.
know,
We got some really good reactions out of that, because that was.
And that was even still with lights and cameras in his face. But there are, again, sometimes.
But mind you, then we performed in the street. We got some good reactions, but there was this one group, these three guys. Do you remember those? And they super flat reaction. Obviously, we're not going to throw that into a trailer.
Yeah, and that might
You know what I
be
mean?
because
So, like-
we were right there.
You get like the misleading people where they seem like they're gonna be so good.
Oh yeah.
I love magic. Yeah, I'm into this.
Yeah.
Let's get there. And then you do it. And they're like,
Yeah. Oh, it's happened so many times.
Yeah, they're like, very, very well done. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, well, yeah, not thank you.
Yeah, magic is. I mean, here's the funny thing about. Well, I'll get to you guys in a second. Here's a funny thing about magic is like, we try to sell you guys a secret, right? But I can't tell you how it's done, and I can't lie to you, right? So that's like, welcome to building a magic trailer. I'm trying to tell you, I want you to buy a secret from me. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm going to show you what it is. But I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm not going to use camera cuts, sort of, but I will ethically. So it's like this weird like gray territory you got to navigate for like creating magic trailers, because like the slightest like jump cut or the slightest wording, like a thought of card or a freely thought of card. Those are two different terms right there, right? Because I could say, think of this card. That's a thought of card, right? So there's like this weird like territory where you got to like work in with it, and that's
completely hands-on.
Yeah.
But then every trailer ends up being the same, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You just run through every trailer is exactly the same. Like, no, instant reset.
Yeah, it's
perform anywhere for anyone, hands free. You're like, wait, what?
most of the time it's just tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
you open up the box.
Double-sided tape.
It's just a paper
flap
clip.
card. Yes.
I was just wondering, I started card college a couple weeks ago. I got it for Christmas.
Awesome.
And I was wondering, I know you made a really great book, but I was wondering what other books that...
Yeah, definitely a good question. If Card College is great. Royal Road is also a good one if you're starting out. Expert Card Technique has probably some of the greatest, if you're looking to fool even magicians, like Expert Card Technique. I think Joe Barry bases his whole career on Expert Card Technique, literally.
The first move of Expert Card Technique is a great way to get a break under the top card.
Yeah.
Which is honestly, nobody does it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the best way to get a break.
Expert Card Technique, super cheap. You can buy it if you want to get on Kindle for like $5 or like $12 paperback. Another, if you're looking to invest maybe a little bit more, there's Tarbell, the complete course, complete magic course, Tarbell.
I would recommend Maximum Entertainment. That's probably one of my favorite books in magic. Teaches a lot about the performance of it and how to approach people and what to wear and what to say and all that kind of thing. It's a really good book.
Yeah.
The Art of Astonishment series.
Oh yeah, the Art of Astonishment series by Paul Harris. Yeah.
If you're looking for just really neat, unique tricks.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Those books are golden.
Yeah. So definitely all of those mentioned. I mean, are you looking at more for card magic or more for card magic? Yeah, I would say give expert card technique, expert at the card table. Obviously, yeah, it's a really good. It actually is a great reference for a lot of things, like if you're looking for false shuffling or. Yeah, I've actually read it. I just don't do any gambling stuff, but you know, if you're looking to improve your second dealing and stuff like that, that's a good thing.
Larry Jennings has a lot of great cards.
Yeah, Larry Jennings as well, definitely. Yes, sir.
I'm just wondering how you were able to like stay encouraged to keep making videos, especially when you're like starting to notice that your audience are like starting to decrease.
Yeah.
It's like I started making YouTube videos in the summer, and I went from like 50 subs to like a little over 2,000, and now it's just like starting to slow down, and I don't really know what to do.
So, I mean, I think you have to listen to. I don't want to say listen to your audience because like a lot of times they can steer you very wrong, like from what you're trying to achieve. But maybe set out your goals. What it is that you want to do with your channel. I think a big thing is consistency. I think if you can be consistent with the type of content that you want, and I'm not the best at that, but if you want people to tune in certain times, consistency is definitely something they can look forward to, and just. I guess, I don't know, man, keeping it interesting. Like, I know it's a very vague term, but, you know, one video is like, how to get rid of the click. I did on this E-log thing, right? And I just stuck a deck of cards in my socks all day so it would have the click, and then it would try to, like, eliminate the click somehow. But, like, just think of, like, silly, crazy ideas that your fans might really enjoy that they can't get anywhere else. That's, the
GoPro thing.
Yeah.
Are you circumcised?
Yeah. Thanks. You did it. You should remember. Who completed the cut?
Just speaking about the channel, like,
Yep.
how do you feel about like let's say one day you wanted to put like a prank or something, and like it's not really magic related, you just wanted to do that. Like, how do you feel about like uploading something that's not related to your niche on YouTube onto your channel? Like, do you feel like you should have like a separate channel, like if you wanted to do like a tutorial on how you edit, like would you do that on your same channel or?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't, just because like I mean, it is a platform where you can share anything, but you have developed an audience for something.
Okay.
And as weird as that sounds, they're gonna kind of feel deceived if you do something else. It's kind of like we were talking about with Instagram. But if you make it a regular thing where Tuesdays you edit videos, Wednesdays you prank people, like people could get on board with that, I think, a little bit more. Like Instagram, when you start posting like card photos. Like my content was literally 100% magic, like on Instagram. And I was like, I don't want to just take a picture of a deck of cards that doesn't even move, like doesn't do anything.
That's when we started hanging out.
Yeah, and then exactly. And then we start changing it up a bit, and I was taking pictures of my cat, right, or whatever. And then bam, bam, bam. Fast forward, now my content is like 80% lifestyle and 20% magic, right? But I've got more following. I've got more engagement. So why is that? Well, it's because I've kind of taken them that way, where I was like, look, I'm more than just a deck of cards. I'm more than a deck of cards, guys. There's so much more to me. But yeah, just, you know, if you want to express that, just make sure that like you do it in a way that makes sense to your viewers. Is it 3:15? Okay, so I think we're gonna, like, I mean, the Q&A went on for a lot longer than I thought it would. But we're gonna do like a little session with like just jamming and stuff. You guys want to jam out? We can take some pictures on the other side. Sign some stuff, you guys, if you guys are down. We can do that? Yeah, cool. You guys have a good time so far? Yeah! All right, awesome.